I really dislike that when I see that now with people. Okay, but if you want it, you can find it.
Played in Italy,
Yeah,
Australia,
yeah,
America,
yeah.
Cyprus. You're in India at the moment.
So this thing for me became infectious. Okay, I just needed it.
No, it's just good memories, man. And he asked me, how come we're up here? And I said, you know what? This is where I met Steve.
Yeah, but this was a part of your whole thing of yourself.
This is where Cy spent what I call formative years, man. Like from 10 to about 16, 17, which I think formative years. And maybe forget your footballing journey, so I think what you picked up here a lot of, and what we tried to instill was more the social element as well, man. So St. Luke's is always a little bit special to me, man. We had good human beings roll by. Chad, God bless his soul, was a big part of here.
And you remember Chad?
So it is special.
It is very special.
And I know it's a bit cheesy of me to say, and it's only a small little six-a-side little pitch.
Yeah.
But it gave us some good memories, man, and made friends for life. Like me and Sorry met here, and we're like brothers. So yeah, special place, man. And obviously it got us two connected. So right, this is about Steve Goddard and Cy Goddard, dear friends of mine for years. As you can see, we connected through football. I really want to talk to Steve about some of his work, where it started, what inspires him, how that passion translates to football, and then Cy's picked up the baton and continued with the football journey. So thank you for your time, man, Steve. Like, I know you don't really do too many interviews and stuff like that, Cy. Your journey, you're playing out in India.
India, yeah.
So I want to get into that and talk to you guys about that. Steve, you're local from around here?
Yeah.
Always?
Yeah.
Born and bred?
Near enough. So first of all, born in Battersea, just across the bridge, which is just that way, Battersea Bridge. So this is, my backyard. And then I grew up playing football, which was basically street football. So we didn't have beautiful 3G pitches and whatever. We just used to play until we had to go back home to wash the clothes we wore, playing football for school the next day. Okay.
Did you stick with school around here?
Near enough, yeah. I went to what was a Catholic school, Westminster Cathedral School. And I remember that I was such an avid George Best fan. I used to live in a red and white Man U top with a number 11 on the back. And
I always wanted to know, do you support a team?
To be honest with you, you know
Chelsea?
what? I suppose I'd have to say a little bit. Growing up with art, my mother was an artist, so I grew up with art and the whole fundamentals and the thinking of what is an artist, and I had it because my DNA connection was that with my mum. Okay.
Did you know that from very early?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Okay. So to be an artist was more so a middle class or upper middle class privileged thing to do. It wasn't for someone off the estate. So I went for a careers interview when I was 15, where these stupid careers interviews, where I said what I wanted to do, my London accent. He said, no, Sonny, we got trades for people like you, chippy, plumber, and completely downgraded me. But fortunately, I knew better. I thought, no, I'm out of here. But the funny thing is that the football was a great ally with me. Why it was because art is very insular. It's very much you indoors with your mind. It's very introspective, which is necessary to create really good work with imagination, right? Okay. Then the flip side is, which is really important for us all, is our mental health, is sociability, socialness. And the football, wow.
It gave you that balance.
It gave me a beautiful balance. And then what I used to do, the big change shift for me was the 1970 World Cup. So this is the first time some of us had colour TV sets.
Brazil.
And we saw a Brazilian team where every player had as much skill as the left wing, right wing. And when I saw this and saw the outrageous touches and skill, I thought, that's the only way I can play football now.
Resonated.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then what happened, the whole artistic thing in my head of expression, the way I used the ball or wanted to use the ball was like the Brazilians. Relaxed shoulders, no pressure, no tension.
The joy.
Can you see?
Joy.
The joy, okay, but the artistry, the level of skill level that was never here in our Division 1. We never had Premiership at that time. Okay, so this was like something that took me on another
mystical.
planet. It was, and it did. It done it for many people in the game, to be honest with you, because we never seen a kit such as aqua shorts. I'm not even talking like, because City wore light blue. They wore aqua. We'd never seen aqua shorts with the green and yellow trim with the whites, okay? And then we got the incredible Puma King Palais boots with the elongated tongue. And I mean, you looked at the way they played and you saw the elastic for the first time. You think, what did he do with the ball? Meaning Rivellino. So for me, he was the first player I saw do, and he could really do it, because he would nutmeg it. He wouldn't do it just sideways. He would nutmeg it. So this thing for me became infectious, okay? I just needed it.
Was football at that time on par with your passion for your
More so. More so.
Really?
I prayed to God at 14 going to bed at night. Please, you've got to make me a footballer, God. You've got to. You've got to. But my mind was so I got to screw loose, which means this: to be a good artist, you've got to be slightly crazy. Okay, and I was slightly crazy with football. Okay, I was in my own dimension.
Well, you use that passion for your work.
Yes. So what happens? That worked amazing for me in my profession. It turned out to be my profession. Okay, which is massive risk taking. Which painters, if they're real painters, they do it. Okay, you can't be calculated. It's not. But the thing is that when you're a team player, there's construction, and there has to be this supply. Yes. Okay, so I'm not making excuses. I certainly wasn't good enough, but it was always my first dream was football.
I read somewhere that you're self-taught.
Yes.
No college in terms of
you
art.
Don't need to.
You're all self-taught.
So the thing is, it's self-motivation. Like with anything in life, if you want it, you can do it. It's really a beautiful phrase, you know, and I really mean it. If you've got the desire to want to go and study and find the things you don't know, and you can do it, and then you can add them on board to what you do, and then you develop a skill set. If you develop a skill set, you become at a different tier level, okay? And then what happens, you can seriously say, okay, I can make a living at this.
But what you have in abundance, is passion.
Passion is the word, and it's what you've got that drives me and you together. The thing is, this recognition between the two of us of intensity of passion.
But you're unwavering in your passion, and
you are as well.
And that's why I think we connect so well, because you're unwavering, and your kind words, whether it's speaking to multiple youngsters that have been in our company, whether it's my son, whether it's Cy, I've heard you, it's unwavering, and you use that kind of attitude towards your craft and your work as you would do for football.
Because it's reverent.
And you wanted him to have it in abundance.
Yes. I try as much as, even like that young kid I met a week ago, I spoke to, you said was a good player. I felt, let's go
but no one was watching you, Steve, right? And I was above you. You didn't see me.
Right,
You didn't see me.
Yeah.
And I saw you come over.
Yeah.
And I was right above you, and I heard every word you said, and I just was melting inside, because everything you said was spot on. Everything you said was what was needed to be heard by that young guy. He came away buoyant afterwards. He phoned me, he was like, and he was saying to me he liked me, and he said this, and I said, right, look, what are you going to do now?
Exactly. How are you going to use that?
What are you going to do with that kind of support that it was given? What are you going to do now?
Yeah.
So that passion really comes out of you massively. Cy, did you feel that passion for football the same way as your dad did when you were growing up? Or did you have inklings to go into the art world as well?
No,
No.
not really.
Did you have a choice? Dad said you're a footballer.
No, but the funny thing is this. I was too close to football. I thought, let mum take him to football.
Yeah.
I'm not getting involved with football because I'm too intense. And what happened was, someone came up to me when he was 6 years old, because my mum used to take me to Battersea. They saw him.
Yeah.
I said, have you seen your son play? I said, yeah. I said, no, have you seen his... And then all of a sudden, I did take notice. And then what happened, we done a Chelsea one over there, they used to do in Battersea Park, right? And I took him over, left him there, and you go back and pick them up at 3 o'clock. And I had 3 of them all around me saying, are you his dad? Are you his dad?
Did that ignite something in you?
Yeah, it did, because what it done, it couldn't be my opinion, because being, as you know, like a father, you have a biased sway, and you've got to be careful with that. So you have to block that. But when you have 3 people coming over to, and do you know, I thought, hold on a minute, right, maybe I need to focus more time with him, because maybe I may be able to help. Does it not make sense?
100%.
But
did you feed off that?
I think I was too young to tell, but I knew from like when I was young, I was just football crazy.
Would you say you were football mad?
I would say, yeah. I would say, like, even when I used to come here, like full time with Tottenham, when I was 16 to 18, I'd have a match on Saturday.
I still make sure.
And then come here Saturday afternoon, play here, and then Tottenham got wind of that.
Did they get wind of that?
Because as well, what they do on the Monday, they do power and jump tests.
You were tired.
And I was absolutely knackered. Monday going to training, and I didn't get a telling off or anything, but they knew I was playing it. I think everyone at the club just knew, like, when I was even away from Tottenham and training and stuff like that, I'd just be playing constantly, and that was from really young age to even when
Did you have a clear mindset that I want to be a footballer?
At first it was more like I just enjoy playing football, and that's where it stemmed, and then naturally you want to become a professional. And luckily I took a good route and signed with Tottenham when I was 10 years old. I remember he didn't want to come to the trial because he thought all these clubs were, because I was tiny.
I didn't want to witness it.
He didn't want to go.
Would you make sense with you?
100%,
He didn't want to go to the trial.
And I didn't.
You didn't go?
I think my uncle took me to the first trial, which was like an opening trial.
Yeah.
But you identified that in yourself?
No, what it was, look, I know English football. I'm not being arrogant. Let's be careful
we
here.
both know.
And I felt that because of stature and size and weight and everything, I felt no, and I don't want to see that because they won't see that.
Disheartening.
Can you see what I'm saying?
100%.
So I thought, no, I prefer not to witness that. I'll get my brother to take him along. I'll let you explain the rest.
Luckily, I went down with a few like mates from Sunday League and stuff, and there were like 10 of us, and I remember we had like 2 really good coaches that are now high level coaches.
Very, very good.
So we had
coaches.
Chris Ramsey and Dan Machichi.
He's running Queen's Park Rangers.
Exactly.
Academy.
And he's a very good coach.
Yeah, I met him a few times. Good guy as well.
A good guy, natural.
Yeah, natural,
Yeah,
That's what we found.
he was good.
Yeah.
So, and then at the trial, I did what I did, and the trial finished, and they called the parents to say who's gonna go through and train with the academy, and obviously my uncle's lost, and he doesn't even.
You know he's got a learning disability.
Okay.
He doesn't go to the.
He doesn't understand.
He doesn't go to the meeting where all the parents are. So I'm like to my uncle, what's happened? Everyone's found out. Like, what's happened? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
God.
Luckily, the coaches like found me. They come running and found me, and then from there, I went to train with the academy and was there for 10, 11 years.
Great grounding. We were very proud of you, Cy, that you were out there trying to forge your career, but we were proud that you also saw the value of what we were doing at grassroots level. And I know your dad was fundamental in keeping you grounded. There was times where your dad in front of me would kind of make sure that you applied yourself properly and you were a role model to a lot of the boys, because the boys would leave here saying, if Cy's an academy and he's working that hard in a grassroots session, then we have to do it as well. And also there was an element of some boys wanting to get the better of you just naturally to test the level. So we were very proud of you, man. And obviously your career's gone on into what I would call a worldwide adventure. We'll get to that because you've played in Italy, Australia, America, Cyprus. You're in India at the moment. You've played 6 different countries. You've a whirl of different environments. Who's the most gifted footballer you say that you've ever spent time with, whether it's training or a match?
So when I was part of the 23s, we train a lot with the first team at Spurs, and I think if you see a lot of interviews and
a lot of players
were saying the same thing. So I was lucky enough to train with him quite a few times, and Moussa Dembele for sure.
What stood out?
You can't get the ball off.
He's strength,
he's so strong, and the way he can maneuver the ball, and as well his technical ability. And then when he's coming to press you as well,
it's problems.
You need to move the ball in one touch, because
problems.
if he gets anywhere close to you, then he's getting
What do you think? Maybe this is unfair for me to ask. Well, he did have a remarkable career, but what do you think stopped him from having a high-profile career? Because he kind of disappeared.
I think especially with his game, he wasn't a player to get loads of goals, a lot of assists, and that's what gets you in the newspapers at the end of the day.
What inspires your artwork, Steve?
What inspires my artwork is looking at great works of art. So for me, my heroes were someone like Rembrandt. Rembrandt's self-portrait is probably some of the greatest paintings ever done in human history. And you look at Rembrandt's school as a human being, is a wonderful school. And with his level of his skill, so
And could you identify that?
So first of all, you just can't become a fine artist from leaving school. Okay. You've got to somehow serve your time in apprenticeship to build up a skill set. So you can be good enough to sell work, which means you can live off selling your work. So what I done, I worked in graphics. So I left school at 15, was a street runner in Soho, made it on the board, as they say, to doing this. And then I developed a skill set in graphics. But then I had enough, it wasn't enough. I used to carry Rembrandt books into work. I thought, no, I've got to throw my job in, give it a year, and see what I can do. So it's like I said, look, sometimes you need risk, you need risk to find out, you need to apply risk. So I've done that, found, wow, my devotion towards needing to find these answers in me, whether I could do this.
What would you class your artwork, and I don't know, my ignorance, Steve, in terms of genre? Where does your artwork fit in?
My work fits into human psyche, which is this. So when you undertake portraiture, you've got to get to that inner soul. It can't be an illustration of someone. You don't want it to look like a photograph.
No.
That's illustration. That's no it. What you've got to do, you've got what's going on within that person as a human being. That must be the personality of that person's feelings. These are very difficult skill sets to get involved in. It's very, very difficult thing to do. Okay. Hard work will get you there, but it won't get you there because you need something else coming in and connecting to you. I can't explain it.
I was going to say, it's almost not quantifiable.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
Your work is out there am I right in saying the royal family?
Yeah, so the king now, the prince at the time. So yeah, I've got people that are brought into my work that followed it and whatever.
That's amazing.
It's nice.
And I'm not saying just because it's the royal family, but just you've left a mark in the whole of the UK without even having what I would call a high profile, so to speak. It's a subtle, you're out there. I read somewhere Ridley Scott, he's got some of your work.
Yeah, it's got a portrait of my father. The thing is, what I would say to a young artist is first of all, honest question to yourself.
Yep.
Why is it you want to do this?
Yep.
Which is a really, really important question. Cy put it right. Remember he says the love of football.
Yeah.
Well, the love of football is the same as the love of art. It's that you have a need.
Yeah.
When you've got a need, you will flower and flourish as long as you feed it with the right information or the right work process into development. And then all of a sudden, you arrive at a foundation of where you built up an art, where you can, because confidence is everything. As an artist, as a footballer, however you get the confidence is massive. Because when you have confidence, you have conviction in the way you use the ball or the way you swing the paintbrush.
Right.
Okay, does it not make sense?
Makes perfect sense.
So this is all really hard earned. You've got to find the answers in yourself. So the thing is, like the young man that I was talking to when you were just above me in the football pitch, how much do you want it? How much do you believe in yourself? Do you remember what I was saying to
you? Yeah.
And are you prepared to do the extras, which I said to him? I know what I said to him.
Yeah, you were very clear.
Okay, I said, if you do the extras on top of your skill, then you're going to go to that.
Yeah.
And then you open yourself up to a judgment of the person who can make the call on you to get you to over there.
Cy, has that been useful for you to use that kind of mindset within your career?
Probably I picked it off without knowing from my dad, and he's a little bit all or nothing. Like,
just a bit.
Well, it's win or bust with me, but he's a different concept of thinking. He's a different makeup to me in terms of his thinking. I think you're very much like me.
Yeah.
I'll go round in the first round, but I'll go down having a go.
When you're playing abroad, do you sense that same passion in the different countries, or is it different culturally?
I think, the weird thing is, we've got people from all different places in the world, from little villages where there's hardly any people.
Where are you playing now?
India.
What is it?
Hyderabad.
Hyderabad.
Yeah, so India's a funny one because India's such a big country.
Huge.
So in our team we get boys from different regions and different ways of growing up, and maybe living in Mumbai, a busy city, or but it's everywhere I've been and played football. I think just football people are football people at the end of the day. Everyone's got their own personalities, but the sort of energy of the group and everything's been pretty much the same. So people can be living in a village or in a high city, and you can it's like getting along exactly the same and having the same humor.
It's the biggest connector I've ever. I think every friendship I've got on this planet, apart from my wife maybe, is football connected somehow, somewhere. So I definitely understand what you mean in terms of, although you might be from different cultures, religions, villages and so on, the football brings you guys all together. And again, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. What do you miss about playing football in the UK? Nothing.
I've enjoyed my experiences in my roads that I've been on. Like when I was younger, I couldn't have imagined that I'd be playing in all these sorts of countries and experiencing the road where it's taken me. So
will you be? What's the plans? Will you be in India for a while now, or?
I don't know, because every season I've basically gone to a new club.
Yeah, so that's what I've noticed.
I've been living like that, and just.
Is that by design?
That's just what's
design.
Who's got design? But is it size design?
I think it's just what's led me there.
Trust me, trust me.
It's been an interesting journey at times, of course.
Have you not said in your mind, right, I want to play, it could be anywhere, I want to play there and work towards it, or no, God's design and we'll play and we'll enjoy and wherever we see?
When I was younger, of course, you want to be playing in the top leagues in Europe and stuff like that. Of course, when I was younger, that was my goal to do. But just naturally it's led me down different paths, meeting different people.
Probably made you more of a rounded human being, which is the ultimate in what we're here for.
I think, so you know what I mean, when you're a son to a father, your protection and your love of them means you are at this level with mom. Now the thing is surely what you've got to ask is you want a son that's humanitarian, that's well balanced with human beings, but actually acquires forms of intelligence, not talking academia. I'm talking about how to engage with people and be very, very fair with people, and you know what I mean. Now the thing is with the top end of the money, but the money spoils the game.
Yeah.
It has spoiled the game. I think it spoiled the game from the way they conduct themselves, with the waving of the cards to get %, the gamesmanship, and the money hasn't helped. So the thing is, if you can be protected from that and develop your inner soul, your best side of yourself, and still play football, and then have the virtues of picking up cultures in these different parts of the world, you become a much more rounded person. So I sometimes think that somehow God puts things before you. I really do. It's put you right before you.
100%. 100%.
And the thing is the magical mysteries for goes on.
That's what it is, magical mystery tour for all of us.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And don't be afraid to embrace a new turn in the road. Yeah, because it's ultimately a challenge and it's beautiful.
You must be really proud of what your boy's doing, man.
Well, that's not. Just think of this yourself. To go and pack your bags at 19, 18 years old and leave home and go and live out of the hotel. So what happens, you go to the training ground at 9 in the morning, you finish at 1, you've got the whole day to yourself, you can't speak the language, you're 4,000 miles away from your home, your family and your friends. You go and try and do that times 6, then we'll find out.
It's not all glory.
It's not
the glitz.
Not at all. Not at all.
But you get the rewards for the sacrifice that you've made, man. And again, go back to it, take my hat off, man, because it's easy in this social media world to give up or to be homesick or to be not as driven as what you are, man. So
the one thing you want, man, is a sense of joy and happiness with life. Being able for people to respect. Okay?
That's the be all and end.
Right. Well, you do.
Everything is a means.
And the thing is that if you throw the football in, great, it's a beautiful thing, okay? Okay, you want to fulfill your talent, which is something that is an ongoing thing that doesn't change, it shifts. There's certain things you need to develop on and work on, because a footballer's life now isn't like what it used to be. It used to be 32 and you're out.
No, they don't.
Okay, Luka Modric is still playing for Real Madrid team at 39 years old. So your longevity now, because the sports science guys,
nutrition,
the footwear, the pitches, means you can go and play into your 40s. Okay, so the thing is he's at basically halfway of learning. Right, if you apply this with where you're at and find the solutions and the answers, you don't know where you can go.
The world is your oyster, as they say.
You don't know where you can go. It's down to you.
Yeah, the world is your oyster.
When it's down to you in life, it's a luxury. Do you understand what I say?
You've earned that right.
Yeah, but to put yourself in a position
to have that
where you're there, wow, right, then it's like second shift, here we come. Do you know what I mean? That's the way I...
it's a great way of looking at it, because definitely earn the right, but it comes from sacrifice, Steve, and that's again the key word for me, is sacrifice and application.
Yeah, but that's what we're saying with the young people. And that's why I'm saying sometimes we have to remove the phone from them from a football pitch. Why? Is because they're caught up in a psychotic spiral. Okay.
It's like they're watching somebody else's life.
Yeah, but it's not helping.
It's not helping
It's
their own life.
it's not helping.
I'm guilty of it, man. It's horrible.
It's not helping now.
Are you on your phone too much?
Probably a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is this was the epidemic. So from the age of 15 or 16, this is unfortunate.
Did you put anything consciously to control that?
He knew what I was like with the phone.
Really?
You know, and
Yeah,
I know what you're like,
Yeah.
don't I? So the funny thing is, I
Was he strict with that?
out the way. No way. No way.
But the benefits are massive.
Of course they are.
Yeah, it's huge.
So you allow this
To grow, man.
to be able
It's a
to
beautiful-
see. I remember we had this weird experience. We came out of football English, right? Just a stupid thing.
Yeah.
This is what I mean about. So kids come out here,
Yeah.
you know. what I
Zombies.
mean. Yeah. And I'm like, my antennas like this, as I am. Because I'm like you, I'm intense.
We're living.
With life.
Yeah, we're
Everything
living.
is
We're living.
intense.
Yeah.
And I remember we see this old chap with his shopping, and I can see he drops his change, like notes, down in, and I can identify from, I'm not joking, over 100 yards.
He's so wrapped up.
And I'd go like that, and I say, quickly go, because he's dropped it, go and give it to him. And that's what I mean when I give you a parallel. I put in these things away,
Right.
and then allowing
The notice.
observation
Yeah.
of human nature.
Life is going around our young people and they don't realise it, man. They really
It's
don't.
really, you know, there was a book that I passed in Piccadilly, I forget the author's name, and it really is a guideline, and he's pointed out scientifically of where all the pitfalls are and what this leads to, okay?
I think
And
50 years
obsession
from now.
behaviour patterns.
I think
And
50
this
years from
betting
now.
is dangerous, so the football world is to blame as well.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
with this gambling episodes. Do you not agree with me?
I do. I think 50 years from now, there's going to be research and studies to say the effects of everything that we're dealing with now. I'm not an angel, Steve. Even I get caught up because I'm such a football fan and they know what they're putting out there,
Yes.
football snippets.
Yes.
Suddenly I'm watching Maradona video and then I'll end up watching street food in Korea for some reason and you're just
They put
lost
you
in a
hooked
world.
They've hooked you
It
in.
hooks you in. But what's been good for me is that because I try and control my kids,
Yeah.
I then have got to be leading by somewhat
Yes,
of an
example.
example. So therefore, I tweak it or I hide it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a battle, man. It's a battle. It's a battle.
But like, you know what, as we all said, life was not supposed to be plain and simple.
No.
It was always about climbing up the north face. Okay? But with real effort,
Yeah.
endeavour, belief.
Yeah.
Belief is the big word, by the way. Okay?
Yeah.
Because if you've got faith,
Yeah.
it gives you, it's almost like cheating. It gives you.
What you've got in
80%
abundance, Steve, is conviction, man, and belief. It's unwavering almost, man. And I feed off it. That's why I like spending time with you or seeing you because I'll go away thinking it can be done. It will be done. It has to be
Yes.
done. And you're lucky to have that alongside you. Even so, sometimes it might be a bit much for you sometimes, but you're so lucky to have had that. Hello, mate. Your artwork is on the front cover of a music album.
Yes, I've done an album for this Stereophonics.
How did that come about?
There's a friend of mine, like celebrity chef, who bought my work, Marco Chiappa,
Yeah.
who would sort of, they would go and eat at one of his restaurants, and then they heard about me via Marco, because Marco had a collection of my work, and they really liked the work, and I sort of got together with them and done an album for them with all the things that accompany a new album that
Amazing.
goes with it. So that was nice.
What that does as well is it timestamps it for life, man. It's amazing. Because I stumbled upon that and I thought, well, again, you're so understated, Steve. Like, not that we spend all our time talking about football. That's why we don't go into that. I'm humbled, Steve, when you come across the individuals that I bring around or when you were at the session. And you don't need to take the time to go out there and try and make that person's life just a little bit better.
Yeah.
You don't do it for props. It's not like you've got a camera crew behind you. You're doing it because it's from here.
Yeah, but don't forget, you know what, when you have these experiences where you lose, like your friend, like my friend,
Yeah.
and to those circumstances of their mental turmoil,
Yeah.
because life is so painful. When you sometimes see a young person with across like the quiz look or very sad look, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Across their face. Hey,
But you're conscious.
I know, but it only takes us not even a minute to go over. Actually, you know, human contact's a big thing, okay? And then you look at them with purpose, and you actually mean it, by the way, okay? And that's the difference.
Not everybody's like that.
No, but you really got to, because the thing is that life is surely shown to you without the intervention at some point. But I just feel it can make a difference. It just may make a difference.
You don't. It's not about you think it makes a difference. It does. I've seen it make a difference. You've made a difference with Sorry, for example, my dear friend Sorry. You made a difference in his life with the help that you gave him. You make a difference, man. But don't take it for granted. I don't want to be rude, but those guys there, they probably don't do it, Steve. Don't take it for granted. What you do is a beautiful thing. But it's just you. You're not conscious of it. You're just plodding along being Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. And at the end of the day, do you know what I mean? This cohesive feeling we have with the football, with the people, with this session, for instance here, okay, is you can feel this beautiful feeling with your heart fluttering. It's in such a high place with people, young people, feeling open-eyed like this about life.
It just brings it back to humanity.
But doesn't it shut me to say we don't need all this so-called wealth, all this ego platform
Nothing matters.
to be able
Don't
to
take anything with
find
us.
this beautiful thing of joy at that moment. Do you know what I mean? And that's the wealth of it. It doesn't need to be complicated in going all these routes, but these phones make life so complicated for young people.
It's quite simple out there, man.
So complicated.
Yeah, I want to finish it up. Steve, what a beautiful human being out there making a difference with his work and his heart. Cy doing the same thing through football, travelling the world. I'm proud of both of you guys. Thank you for your time. It's a pleasure, man. Honestly, thank you. I'm humbled to know you guys, man. Honestly, man. So rap, life matters. Life matters. These guys are clear evidence that life matters. Tune in next time. More special people. Love.